upon Mr. Cliff Weathers as the last speaker in favor of the motion.
It's my first time, I usually don't public speak, but excuse me, I'm a little hoarse today too. Just wanted to, your name's Mr. Nuremberger? Nuremberger, I'm sorry, sorry to mispronounce your name. I wanted to bring up that you call the Chinese and the Saudis our enemies, and it was George Bush that gave China the most favored nation status. And it was also George W. Bush that held the hand of the top Saudi sheikh and kissed his ring in Saudi Arabia 5 years ago. Now, it is irresponsible talk also to call nations that we share ambassadors with our enemies. Okay, just to let you know if you wish to go into politics someday, go. I'm not here to defend Congress. I actually think Congress has done a pretty poor job on this health care issue. I want to speak to health care. Somebody mentioned that health care isn't afforded by the Constitution. There's many things that aren't afforded by the Constitution. Energy, the interstate highway system. There are a lot of things that are not in the Constitution. The Constitution, however, was written as a document that can grow, that can change, and that we can change. That is why the Constitution is, we have amendments to the Constitution. That is why we make laws. That's why we have precedents from our appellate courts and from our Supreme Court. That's why if there's legislation made and the legislation is found illegal, it can go through the whole legislative process, and so yes. And also, I wanted to also point out that back in the day, back in 1776, the major form of health care was bleeding. Doctors and barbers were typically the same person, and it costed about the same to go to both, right? So there was no health care to speak of. George Washington died because he was bled to death.
Point of information?
Yes.
You said the Constitution is flexible or changing and amendments needed. You know, it's true. Constitutional amendments are needed.
We didn't need a constitutional amendment to
Build a road.
to create. No, we didn't need a constitutional
But to
amendment.
change our whole healthcare system?
No, we changed the War Department to the State Department without necessarily changing the Constitution. We can add things. We built a road system. We built a beautiful interstate system without changing. I mean, that was a whole change to the way that we conducted commerce in this country. We were more of a confederation even after the Constitution.
Point information.
Yes.
If somebody's forced to pay for insurance and they're being forced to pay for insurance, where in our rights is that written that we have to pay for insurance?
It's not written in our rights. We are forced to pay first of all, I believe that with a public option plan, I do not believe in mandates. I do not believe in mandates for health insurance. I think that I do not think everything is perfect about the health insurance plan that was presented by the administration, or went through Congress, which was even worse. Yes.
Point of information, okay. All right. We asked to pay taxes
Right.
to support our school system. Okay.
Yes.
And we cannot go without paying. Okay. For the same reason, why should we be asked to pay for to pay for health coverage for people that can afford it? Okay. I understand some people may not want it, but then some people want it, but they cannot afford it. Okay. What's your thought about this? Why can we say that you have to pay for your kids to go to the school? Okay, but you shouldn't pay for somebody else that cannot pay, maybe the parents or the neighbors that cannot afford having a doctor.
You're talking more about like a single payer program, much similar to what they have in I was going to say California and Canada. And they're really, for the reasons that we do have education systems in the United States, there is no reason why you cannot have a single payer program, statewide or nationwide.
Our schools are spending $10,000, $12,000, $15,000 per child to run, when Catholic schools and private run schools could do it for $5,000, $6,000. Our government system stinks. Our government school system stinks, sorry.
My son goes to a private school, goes to a private Catholic school. The cost for him to go to that school not the tuition, but the cost, with everything that comes in through the church, is over $24,000 a year. That is the actual cost that they're paying for him to go to St. Dominic's.
Point of information, we're here tonight to decide on should we have confidence in this
Yes.
administration. How can you help us to understand why you think we should have confidence when unemployment is up versus down? When President Obama said we would have 5 million more jobs and we've lost 10 million jobs.
Well, first of all,
Why should we have
First of all,
confidence?
the unemployment rate is right now not 10.5%, it's 9.7%. And if you read Bloomberg, you'd see that, it was in there yesterday.
Point of
yes.
information, it's because a lot of people have dropped off the radar.
Well, no, but that's always been true. That's always been true. That's been true since the Reagan
Point
administration.
of information,
Yes.
it's higher in New York. In New York City,
Absolutely.
it's
I
at 30%,
understand
upstate,
that. I
it's
understand
30 and
that.
35%.
Now the thing is what I do want to say about job loss, we started the curve in losing jobs, not the percentage, but the curve in losing jobs, started around December of 2007. And it's starting to increase. And if you look at it as a
Point of information, President Obama said that he asked everybody to pass that stimulus package, which was nearly $1 trillion. He
Right.
said, if we don't do it, we're going to lose a lot of jobs.
Right.
If we do it, we're going to increase jobs in the United States. Mark my word.
first-
Why should we why should we have confidence in someone that can't deliver on the promise?
Well, first of all, we are right now losing less jobs than we were during the Bush
But that's
administration.
point of
If you don't-
information. That wasn't what he promised. He
We are
didn't say.
losing less jobs right now than we are doing during the Bush administration. What is happening is, this is a country, a nation, is a big ship to turn.
Point of information, that's not
in
what
January-
President
in
Obama,
Jan-
that's not how he sold the stimulus stuff.
The stimulus was sold on, the economy was tougher than anybody did. Go ahead.
Point of information, sorry. Can you explain Fannie and Freddie and why they aren't getting the same scrutiny as other banks? Because they were a big cause of what happened, and they're not getting anything. They're not getting any media attention at all. Can you explain why Fannie and Freddie aren't?
My opinion on Fannie and Freddie is that they should be getting the same scrutiny as other banks.
But they're
They're also much more limited in what they can do than the large banks are. As far as right now, what's upsetting people is the large bonuses,
Point of information, Fannie and Freddie executives just took multi-million-dollar bonuses.
Precisely.
And my point on Fannie and Freddie is, why is it that the Obama administration recently authorized Fannie and Freddie to have an unlimited credit line from the federal government if needed?
As part of, first of all, if they're given an limited credit line, it's probably because they're trying to look at any sort of housing downturn. As we were talking earlier, that may cripple the market to basically bolster them up if there's a much bigger downturn than. Okay,
2 minutes.
let me finish. Now, I wanted to just say that out of the $800 billion stimulus package, $288 billion of that went to tax cuts and tax credits. It is the second largest tax cut in this nation's history. It's the largest tax cut that was by a man that is named Reagan. That is in the book. That's in the Office of Management budget. That's in there. You can look it up. It's right there. I also want to say that what we're doing with this, with credits for college tuition and help for first-time home buyers, and there are jobs packages, but these things take time to move. You just don't create a jobs bill and suddenly everyone has a job. You have to get corporations to have faith in the economy, and corporations say, well, I think we're doing well enough. Our books have looked good for the last 2 quarters. Let's hire some people. This is the type of stuff that takes time. It does not turn around overnight. I think that anybody that's looking for a quick fix on an economy does not understand how the economy actually runs. Because if you just think, oh, I'm going to pass this package and boom, unemployment's going to go from the 8% that it was, and then it's going to turn right around and go back down to 6 or 5%, then you don't quite understand how it works. If you tell me one time that there's ever been a stimulus package or a jobs package where the job market has ever turned around in a matter of months or a matter of quarters. It usually takes a year or 2. And it happened during the Reagan administration, it happened during the Clinton administration, and it happened during George H.W. Bush's administration when they all had jobs bills. And actually, their jobs bills didn't even work until some of those gentlemen were out of office. I'd also like to say that You know, the one thing about the Obama administration, what we're doing, and what the Obama administration is doing is the TARP funds, which were given by the Bush administration. The original idea was not to have any oversight of those whatsoever. Now, thank you.
Time of the honorable gentleman has expired.